Hello everybody. What you see here is my ritual space. This is the smallest ritual I can do, and I've been wanting to do this for people because I feel this is missing in our culture. We're missing we're missing both the sense of ritual, we're missing the ritual that the ancients did. We're missing the connection between the spiritual world and the concrete world. And there's a lot of focus on spiritual evolution at this point, which I really appreciate. But we still need to do the simple rituals that brings us in touch with nature, with the cosmos, with everything that's actually moving in our environment. So to start with, I want to show you this. This is actually a compass rose. That's what they call it. And I will use this as the focus. My ritual space here is actually a drawer in my secretary because I want to have a certain form of privacy in my home. So I can easily close this again, close this when I'm done, and then nobody will be the wiser that this is what I'm doing. So I recommend that you find, if you want to do this yourself, that you find yourself a private place to do this in. Now this is very interesting. This is, as I said, a compass rose of olden times. I got this from a library that specializes in ancient maps and things like that. So I took it with me. But to me, it represents a little differently. This represents the going of the year. So, and I will show later on how it also relates to the compass and the concept of a what are they called? Well, I'll explain it as we go. But I want to show you how I divided up the year into a circle like this. So we start here with the winter solstice, and then we have across the summer solstice, and we have the spring equinox, and we have the fall equinox. This is then dividing the earth, or rather the year, into 4 quarters. We know the winter solstice is on the 23rd of December, 24th, 25th, a little bit different cultures, but basically 23rd, 24th, somewhere in there. Summer solstice is then on the 23rd of June, 23rd, 24th, according to a little bit different traditions. And the spring equinox is on the 23rd of March, and the fall equinox is on the 23rd of September. So you have all these 23rds, which has its own significance, and at the quarter points of the year. Then we have, in the Celtic tradition, we have the four eighth points. So on February 1st, we have IMBOLC, and on May 1st, we have Beltane, and on August 1st, we have Lunasad, and on October 1st, you have Halloween, or rather November 1st, sorry, and you have Samhain, which is how they say it in the Celtic tradition, which we now call Halloween. Some of these are celebrations that are being used in society of today. I mean, we have winter solstice, we have Christmas being celebrated. Summer solstice, some people make a note of that because it makes a change in the way the sun operates. Then we go from the winter solstice, the sun start to become bigger and bigger, or we get more and more sunlight during the day, and that grows until we come to the summer solstice, and that's where the sun turns a little bit and it goes over and it starts to diminish, so it becomes less and less sunlight during the day for the next half. This equinoxes marks the time when you have equal length of day and night, and those are also at least notified. Usually in the news it's being said, this is spring equinox, this is fall equinox. So it's the day that has the same amount of light as its darkness during the night. And that has a balance point. And in some traditions, that has also been considered a power point when you have the balance, almost more than the extreme of the winter and summer solstices. Now, the 8th points, with the 1st of February, 1st of May, 1st of August, and 1st of November, they mark a little different things. They follow more the going of the year in a more local sense, but at the same time, we'll use it here. I am located on the northern hemisphere of the Earth. I grew up in the very north, as you can hear, and I live now further south than that. But I'm still on the northern hemisphere of the Earth. So we will relate to this in relationship to the northern hemisphere. And if you live on the southern hemisphere, you can adjust that as you feel is right. So IMBOLC will be then the first day of spring, or the first day of acknowledging that light is returning, and then acknowledging the light inside. Beltane is fertility, so that is acknowledging that now the plants are out, they're fertilizing, they're fertilizing the earth so we can grow things, but also they are finding the seeds, and the seeds are growing. And then you have Lunasad, which is the August 1st, which is then the harvest, where we can celebrate that nature has done its thing. And then Halloween is then when it gets darker and we start to prepare for an inward journey, almost like a hibernation time. And that's fine too. That's good too. Now I will lay down the next layer on this. And that will be that we recognize the north. And the north represents Earth, and the magnetic force of Earth. So north goes on my compass towards the north, but it's also then the rock that holds our attention and holds our groundedness. I believe that's important to acknowledge. And then to the south, we then have fire. I will light this when I do the ritual, but now I just want to explain. We have the fire of the south being where we see the sun the most. And then we have west, this direction, with acknowledged with water, which is then another way of turning of the earth. And we constantly leave the west behind. The west is where we go away from. And then we have the east, which I recognize with incense. It's the element of air, and the east is where we always turn towards the east. And we will that's where we get new ideas from. That's where everything new comes from. I will acknowledge this later. All right. This is a prayer that I got from the internet, but it is actually the Lord's Prayer in Aramaic, and then it's translated to English, so I have it in the English version, and I wrote it out like this on this handmade paper that I made at some point. And I will say the prayer later on. All right. We will now do the ritual as we've been talking about. And as I engage, because this is what you do when you do a ritual, you have regular items, objects that anybody can find, and you give them meaning. You give them a new meaning beyond what they obviously are. A rock is obviously a rock, water is water, and a candle is a candle. Incense is incense, which of course is used for many other purposes. But in this case, right now, in this place that I feel I have blessed in its own way, it will have a different meaning. They will have a much more profound meaning. Like what I said, it's the rock is now sitting on the north, and it represents north, which represents direction, how we find our way in our life. If you think about the compass and how important that compass needle is, that always shows you where north is, and we have expressions that says we're going true north, and that usually means we're on the right track. And then we have the south, meaning the fire, meaning where our energy comes from. And then we have the water, meaning that everything is being washed, and we have the incense in the east, meaning where we actually get our inspiration from. All right. So I start a ritual. I call in the north. I invite the north to join us. I bless us with the ability to see the direction we want to go and go stead forth in the direction we've chosen and feel that that is the right way. And I cannot light the candle apparently. Personality flaws. Here, I will light the candle of the south. And the south gives us energy. It gives us the energy that we need. It gives us the energy to go in the direction we've just established with the north. It gives us the sun, which gives us life energy. It gives us power in a certain way. So this is the direction going this way, meaning following the compass line. It's also the male direction in nature. And we're now talking a very general sense of male direction, where we're not getting into gender definitions and all that, but just that the male definition is more of a, this is where we're going, and we're going straight forward in this direction, and we have oomph and power behind what we're doing. Now we're going to go to the feminine direction that also surrounds the earth, which I find absolutely fascinating. So we call in the west, and the west is water, and water is always cleansing, and water is what we leave behind. So we're always going this way. The earth is going this way. It's going from west towards east. That's just the direction of the circling of the earth. And that is also the direction of the feminine principle. It circles around the male principle. So we call in the west, we call in the water that cleanses us from everything, meaning we leave the dead behind, we leave behind old dust that holds energy, and we're going forward in a new direction. And then I'm going to call in the east. Call in the east with incense. This is the element of air. This is where we're always going in this direction, and where we will find a new inspiration for new ideas and new things. Now, we've now established all the 4 directions and the 4 elements, and the powerful male-female, almost sexual unity that nature functions in. Everything in nature has these powers and functions with that. But there are a couple more directions we need to acknowledge. We also have up and we have down. And up will be the thread that connects us to the universe. Give it a star if you want. And down will be what connects us to the earth. So this is another grounding technique or grounding tool to find out where we are. And then there's one more direction, or two more rather, and that is that with all this knowledge, we bring it inside our body, bring it to our heart, and then we bring it out to the world. Now we've established 8 different directions, and we have created our own gyroscope. Gyroscope of, that was the word I was looking for, of the structure of different forces that are ours to work with, which is very powerful, very powerful. And with this, knowing all this and having all this clear in our minds, I'd like to introduce a little bit of a meditation. It's just going to be very short, and I will, before that, I will read this prayer. After that, I will read this prayer. The meditation will not be like a guided meditation. It will just be silent. So you'll be watching this image that you see here, or close your eyes. And the mantra, if you have your own mantra, please use that. But if you don't, then the mantra or just the sound of the universe works very well. And that's just Om, where you can sing it. You can sing Om, and you have a sound that you can use inside your body. And that's all the mantra is. And the mantra will quiet you down on the inside. If you have a lot of thoughts about all sorts of things, that's fine too, because that's part of the process. But in one way or another, you will unite with the universe at large. And that's usually a very sweet experience. So we will meditate for a little bit, and I will meditate too, and you will join me as you please. Om. 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 O cosmic birther of all radiance and vibration, soften the ground of our being and carve out a space within us where your presence can abide. Fill us with creativity so that we may be empowered. Let each of our actions bear fruit in accordance with our desire. Endow us with the wisdom to produce and share what each being needs to grow and flourish. Untie the tangled threads of destiny that bind us as we release others from the entanglement of past mistakes. Do not let us be seduced by that which would divert us from our true purpose, but illuminate the opportunities of the present moment. For you are the ground and the fruitful vision, the birth, power, and fulfillment, as all is gathered and made whole once again. And we will now release the different elements and thank them for being with us and for the gifts they've given. So thank you, East, for showing us the new directions and for the work you will do in the near future. Thank you, West, for giving us the water and for inspiring us to cleanse our environment and our past so we are ready for the future. Thank you, South, for giving us the power we need to do the work we need to do, whether it's internal work or earthly work. And thank you, North, for being with us today and making sure we know which directions to go. Thank you. And thank you all for being with me on this journey. I will do this again with a little bit different focus in a week. This was for IMBOLC on February 1st, 2022. Much love to everybody. Bye.